Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for week commencing the 17th of June. So this week we're starting off the markets on the back of some very decent gains in the US dollar to the tail end of last week. It was quite an interesting week last week. We saw quite a few swings in price action. The dollar, as I said, ending the week on a very strong note. Precious metals coming off their highs, and US indices, well, seemingly being very indecisive for the whole week and trading within a narrow range. So let's take a look at a few markets here that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week. So first of all, if we come and take a look at the US indices, and our favorite one here to focus on is the Dow Jones future, we can see the sort of strong move that this market had the week before last. If I sort of open this up here on the daily chart, you can see that we had a real rejection of lower prices here, and the downtrend here completely breaking the sort of technical downtrend, and with the market sort of comfortably closing last week or the week before last above that 26,000 level. Now last week's price action, as you can see here, for the past five relatively small candles has just been contained within a narrow range. If we take a look at this a little bit more clearer, perhaps on the sort of 8-hour chart, you can see where the market's been contained, nicely sitting above that 26,000 level. There's also a level here on the 4-hour time frame, which I have, which is around 26,200, and then above that we have 26,300 and beyond. Now, certainly at the moment, interesting that the market was contained within that range last week. I think the way that we look at this now is that if we get a break out of this range, it's going to sort of see us into the decisive direction for the near term. So below 26,000 is a very significant sort of price point. Of course, that's going to see us moving significantly to the short side. Above 26,200, this is a technical level which we've played this many times here in the trading room. So above 26,200, we've got, in actual fact, it's just above that 26,300 area that you can see sort of through here on this 8-hour chart. So we've got a good 100 pip move to the long side, and then above that we're then back into, if we have a look on the daily, we're then back up to 26,500. Difficult to call at this stage as to which way this sort of market's going to go, but certainly from my perspective, I'm more looking more towards the bullish side and waiting for these markets to break out. Now, when we come and have a look at commodities, the precious metals have rolled off quite a bit last week. They all had big rallies, and then they failed to hold those rallies, and they declined sort of significantly. So closing on the lows and continuing those lows, continuing to grind lower through the early hours of this week's sort of trading session, leads me to think that we could be looking for a bit more retracement on precious metals. Now, from that perspective, my preference here is to look for opportunities on platinum. I think platinum's looking more interesting than gold and silver at the moment, and I'll explain the reason why. If we come and have a look at this on the weekly chart, you can see that the market, although it did have a move higher last week and the week before, really completely failed to hold up those prices. It's had a solid move to the short side, and it's really at these recent lows here of 800. So it's coming up to that level. It's not too overstretched on these markets at the moment, and below that level really sort of opens this up to quite a significant move to the short side. And if I zoom out of this on the monthly chart, you can see why. So if we mark in 800 just up here, you can see that below this puts us into sort of a clean price action or clean sort of area underneath price. So if we come down to the daily chart, you can see, we zoom out of this, we can see our 800 level. From an intraday perspective, we've got some very decisive price points here that we could look for trading windows. So down to sort of 790 for a start. That's the sort of next leg here, and it's quite a clear window. down to that price point. Even if we come down to the 4-hour time frames, you can see that this sort of window is sort of quite clear at this moment in time. So continued weaker prices on sort of platinum underneath 800. I'm looking for moves down to 790 in the first instance, but then it could turn into a bit of a longer term play on this one, considering that weekly and monthly chart. Now, if we come and have a look at index markets, the Forex markets, I should say, the US dollar has had a very strong move last week. It closed towards its highs of recent weeks, and it's certainly sort of broken some of those trends. It's now above that sort of 97 level at the moment of speaking, and with the continued if we get continued strength in the US dollar, then I wanted to look at opportunities to take advantage of that. So this is my sort of pick here for at the beginning of the week. This is dollar Sing. Now, dollar Sing is a US dollar strength play. That's what I'm looking for. So it's critical on that US dollar strengthening. If we take a look at this on the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly perspective, the markets started to put in a structure here of a new uptrend, and it's testing technical levels and respecting technical levels very sort of nicely. Markets sort of retraced and bounced off the 136 area, and now it's sort of pushed above that 137 area. So again, if we come down to the daily chart, we can see the sort of technical move here, comfortably above 137 at this moment in time. And that 137 level has been sort of very strong support and resistance on this market across quite some time now. Come and have a look at this on the 4-hour time frame. We can see that we've got a nice sort of rounding sort of structure here with an inverted head and shoulders, chart formation. We've got moving averages and geometry with our technical indicators, and the market sort of comfortably above 137. So with a nice good trend structure here above 137, pullbacks into structure levels such as the level we have here, and sort of value areas that we look for within the context of market geometry, are certainly sort of areas where we'll look for opportunities to trade this market long. The other thing that I like about this is we've got a relatively clear space up towards that 138 level. So there's plenty of potential distance and quite a decent size sort of trading window above price action. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week. I certainly hope it helps. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.